and then clear for the rest of the week.
Maybe it'll start getting warm again then.
65. That's all.
Getting towards the end of November, that's not bad. I'll take it.
It's not bad.
I'll take it. I guess we have to check the Farmer's Almanac and see if, what the forecast is.
I guess it's accurate, right?
I've never farmed, so I don't know. One can only hope.
I'll have to ask my son. He's a farmer.
There you go. He probably pays more attention to that.
Probably.
After a couple of these live shows, we might have to swap out music.
I think so too. But we can do some holiday music as we get closer
There we
to,
go.
Christmas and whatever. So
Yeah.
that'd be fun.
I always feel like I should be wearing neon colors and something with this music. It's just got that really bright, playful.
Like neon
Mhm.
colors. I don't think I've ever seen you in anything like that.
I don't think I've
Back
ever
in the
seen
80s,
myself
maybe?
in anything like that.
In the 80s?
Maybe. Well, I did have, we didn't do neon, but it was definitely, yeah, I had the baggy, like, I don't, they weren't cars.
Oh, the parachute pants? Parachute
Yeah,
pants?
they weren't the full on, but yeah.
Were they like the crazy wild like patterns?
All the yes,
Yeah.
geometric patterns and stuff. Especially, I remember having a jacket or a sweatshirt or something.
You're so stylish, Ryan.
Hey, back in the day, man.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
80s. Woo.
The 80s.
I had all the neon stuff.
Did you?
And it's kind of the flash
Yeah.
dance, off the shoulder and all ripped and
Yep. And you have to
Whatever.
have the leggings,
leg warmers.
leg warmers.
Leg warmers, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Had those.
Yeah.
Several pairs. Oh, the good old days.
That's good old days. Looks like our screen is glitching every now
I don't know.
and then.
You're the techie.
If it's just my computer. Oh, it's the feed. Huh, that's weird.
Working now?
No, it's just every now and then it's almost like it just drops a frame. It's almost like a glitch. I've noticed it.
Making sure I don't have any lipstick on my teeth.
It just did it again at 40 seconds. And then
That's weird.
because I've got the live feed going on a delay, I can look at the live feed once we get down to 40 seconds. And then I can see. Look, we're dropping a frame every now and then.
Hmm.
I feel like
I
I
don't
just
know.
rebooted the computer last night, but it might be time for another
I'd
reboot.
have to, well, you did a big event today, so
Big event.
it's probably a little tired.
Maybe. All right,
Hey.
welcome to the live show. It must be 4 o'clock on a Tuesday.
I think it is.
I think it is, and it's snowing. You can tell by the clouds in the background. It's snowing. It's a little cold. I got the heater on. Northern California
one.
is definitely transitioning as far as the weather goes. Actually, I stole this, Sue, from somebody else. I forget which show it was, but they were doing this. I'm like, oh, I got to be able to. There's got to be
I
a
like
way
it.
I can do it. So I figured out
Well,
what
we
it
gotta
is.
find some rain because we're technically raining here, not really snowing.
Technically rainy, but it's that time of the season. We're getting
Yes.
towards the end of November. We're getting into December. And so, yeah. So anyway, I thought a little snow action would be fun. I'm going to go ahead and pull that off.
Thank you.
So. You're welcome.
It's like the music, you can only do it for so long.
For so long, yes.
You're ready for something else.
Totally get that. Speaking of something else, we should probably introduce the show.
We
This
should.
is the live show with Sue and Ryan. I'm Ryan, and you're Sue. All right. So today we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about going live because a lot of people who have been doing video for some time are used to uploading video. And then with everything that's going on in 2020, more and more people are having to be on video chat. So they're getting in front of the camera more. And I think there's more questions of, well, do I upload content or should I live stream? So I want to talk about some of the
Right.
pros and cons to that.
Yes, for sure.
Yes, for
Yeah,
sure.
yes, for sure. Let's do that. Where should we start, Ryan?
Where should we start? Well, let's talk about the fact that live is live. So there is, I
Live is
think,
live.
one, people get a little nervous because live is live. And
Yes.
I'll say we live in an environment where the expectation is everything needs to be perfect. And whenever you're live streaming, just like I've got a random glitch that's happening every now and then. It's like a frame's dropping out. So you'll see kind of this glitch. It's live. There's nothing that can be done. We're just going to roll with it. There isn't a button that says anti-glitch that I can push. So it's kind of like you just got to learn. You just got to roll with it. And it reminds me when I was doing NLP training, when we got into some higher level training, they actually started teaching us how to juggle. And
Ah,
for those that are wondering what NLP is, it's neuro linguistics programming. So it's essentially neuroscience and understanding how language affects the mind and patterns and all that kind of really cool stuff. And so you may be wondering, well, what does juggling have to do with NLP? Specifically, it has to do with left and right brain and doing activities that get both the left and the right active because it does some really cool stuff.
hmm,
But the very first lesson we had with juggling was drop the ball. And that was to allow yourself to mess up. And
yes.
that through messing up, through failure, through all these horrible words that we put on it, it's really just learning. So there is no failure,
Right.
there's learning. There could be
Absolutely.
frustration that goes along with that learning, but ultimately
Absolutely.
it's learning. So, just realize with live, it is live. It's kind of like if you've been in business long enough, you're probably going to get one of those cranky customers that isn't happy with you or things go wrong. You're going to survive. Tomorrow will
Exactly.
come. You'll be okay. There's plenty of things now that we're doing this more often. I'm like, ooh, watching like live news or live this, and it's like, ooh, they screwed up there. And it's like, okay, kind of makes me feel like, okay, it's okay.
Well,
Um,
I think it forces the authenticity,
yes.
which I think that everyone nowadays really appreciates. And like you said, so many more people are being, well, forced, if you will, to be on camera and to be on screen and to be on those Zoom call meetings and to be doing all these different things. And everything has gone to video, some sort of video.
Hmm.
And I actually like that, you know what, the authenticity of we're doing the best we can.
Right.
Sometimes everything doesn't go perfectly, and it's really, really okay when
Hmm.
things don't work out.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you said, we can just roll with it. It's fine. We're
Yep.
human. Nobody's going to die. We're good.
Yeah, and I think with that authenticity is it also brings a different energy to people because it's like, okay, we're live, we got one take to do it. So I think it does affect conversation because it's not like,
Mhm.
oh, well, I didn't want to say that. Let's rewind. And so those are the things that we have to be aware of when going live. So that is one of the things is just realize live is live, roll with it, do the best you can. There are going to be times when there's downfall, and I didn't look up, but there are studies, especially when Facebook started doing live video a couple years ago, that the engagement is higher. So for me,
Mm,
well, one of the reasons why I love doing live video is the engagement aspect that, as you're watching, you get to leave comments, you get to leave questions, which as you're watching this, feel free to do so. And now we can engage with the audience where when you're pre-recording content, you can engage with people post, like, later, they can leave comments, but you can't engage with them. And when you are able to engage with the audience, you kind of bring them into, and it makes them feel special because now they're part of the show also.
Absolutely. Yeah, the
Yeah.
engagement pieces, that's really what everybody's looking for right now. I mean, when we want to connect. I mean,
Hmm.
we've all been, away from each other, so we're really looking to connect. So if we can get more of that engagement, I think that's a really important piece of that going live
Right.
element. So
Yeah, definitely. And then I would say the other top reason why I enjoy doing live, even if you're recording something, and I've done this with a client who did some training. He did remote training where he brought multiple people in and he did all the training. But we recorded it. It didn't publish live, but we made all the edits. So as an
mhm.
example, if Sue, you were about to present something really important and you didn't want to see me,
Where'd you go? Can't hear you.
I got to push a button on my end here. So
Like,
you can
what
keep on
happened to
hearing me.
you?
I know there's all these things you got to pay attention to, though.
It's
Um, it's live.
live.
Hello. But what's cool about it is we can do live edits, right? So on the fly, I can go ahead and switch from person to different screens if we wanted to bring in a PowerPoint presentation or watch a video. All of that you can do live, so there's no post production. Once
Right.
you're done, you might have
You're
to
done.
edit the front end and the back end of the video, but
Right.
essentially the rest of it, it's done. You don't have to worry about it. And how many people spend so much time recording video and doing this and doing that,
Done a lot of it. Yep.
where it's nice to be able to just sit down for a half hour like we do every week and just have a conversation. We have talking points, but nothing's really been planned out as far as what we're specifically going to say. Where if you're going to do a live production, what goes into some of the live or the pre-roll or pre-production work that you do with your videos?
Well, when I'm doing mine for the hot tub happy hour, I'm usually doing those absolutely live streaming in real time, and it's going out. Which, like we said, anything can happen. I mean, I've had show notes that have blown into the hot tub sopping wet, and I'm like, okay, here are my show notes that are floppy and soppy, and it's reality, which is actually really fun. But then I take those videos and I add in a little, the little pre-roll, kind of like our little show in the beginning with some music and branding and all of that. So I take some
Hmm.
time to do that. Adding in some nameplates if I've got guests and things like that. So there is some time that I spend on that afterwards. But the beauty is just getting it right out live. It's just right there and it's out there and it's here you go
Right, and
and
just
it's
to
done.
and just to clarify, so you're taking a live production, the hot tub happy hour that you do, and
Yes.
then you're reusing that live content because it all gets recorded to the computer. So even though
Yes.
there's the live part that gets recorded, and then you're you're reusing that content and
Yes.
creating pre-recorded content at that point.
Absolutely. And then
Yeah.
sometimes, depending on what it is that I'm doing, if I'm doing a demonstration or something like that, I'll have one camera that is my live camera, and I'll have a second camera that maybe is a close up of maybe what I'm doing if I'm making something specific. And then I'm taking that secondary camera footage and then editing it into a finished product where it
Right.
does have all of the edits. So
Yeah.
there does take a little bit of time to do edits.
Yeah, and so let's talk about that. So if you're going to pre-record, you have more control over what you're going to do, right? Because you have time to
Yes,
edit, you have time to kind of,
absolutely.
okay, I want this to be this long, and then we're going to go into here, and maybe I want a fancy fade. Although,
Yeah.
we can do merges and we can do
Ooh,
wipes and we can do all the
fancy.
fancy stuff also. But it's kind of limited, and if you're going to actually produce a show, and we've talked about
Yes.
the run of the show, you need to make sure you do some pre-planning for live content when you are going to do something that's a little bit more complex than say what we're doing right now, which is just two
Right.
talking heads essentially.
It's yeah, it's pretty simple, and that's what I'm doing with the hot tub happy hour too. I mean, it's very simple. It's pretty dumbed down. Like we joke, you and I joke all the time, where I'm like, I'm not the techie. Like
Right.
I'm like a simple, simple, simple. Like how simply can I do this
Right.
without completely screwing it up? And so
It's
there have
called the
actually
phone.
been times. It's called a phone. It's called a phone. And there's been times when I'm trying something new, or I've got a new setup, or I'm going to try to pre-do this, and there have been so many times when I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've
I
screwed it
we
up.
just we
It's
just
like,
I'm telling you, A10 mini, a couple of
I
cameras,
know, I know.
it'll be
I,
easy, he said.
yeah, exactly. It'll
Yeah.
be easy, no problem. And
Yeah.
I'm zero techie, but I'm still able to, put on a live streaming show on a regular basis, and then also, like we said, take that footage and then utilize it in other ways and push it out. So
Yeah,
for
and I
the
think
non techie, anybody can do it.
yeah, and so that's I think that and that's a great way of just going, okay, I'm going to do something simple live, say through my phone, but I want to repurpose that content, spice it up, maybe for
Yeah.
different platforms, right?
Yes.
You're going to do something differently. Maybe you cut out a vertical portion of it to go on Instagram as an example, or you pull something out to
Yes.
go on TikTok. So even though it's live, if when you record it, you can still repurpose all that content. So it's
Oh,
not like it's
it's
live
amazing.
and
Yeah.
gone.
Exactly. No, I mean, the live piece, like we said, is great for the interaction and, connecting with people. And then, like you said, I take those pieces, and they get little pieces taken out, and some do go on TikTok, some do go on Instagram. And so it's just one more way to, take video, and video just in general is such a value to any business or anybody who's doing anything. I
Yeah.
mean, you need to have video, and if you can take that, you know, put the effort into it, whether it's live or it's pre-recorded, and then use it in smaller areas and repurpose it, and do the transcription, and now you have a blog post,
Right.
and there's so many ways to use video. It's super, super valuable.
Hmm. Yeah. And I think also the other thing is with live, there can be restrictions on hardware. So as an example, the easiest way to go live is the phone. It's got the camera, it's got the microphone, it's got the software, it's got the connection to the internet. So it's all right. It's all taken
Yes.
care of. If you are planning on going live and you're static like you and I are, we're not moving around. We're just sitting in chairs
Right.
right now. You can use the what do I want? The camera that's on your laptop as an example, or you can buy an aftermarket. If you want to
Yes.
get nicer, you can integrate a DSLR or a mirrorless camera with a nice lens. So there's some hardware things to consider when you go live that you may or may not want to invest in versus if you're going to go and pre-record content, you might want to use something different than although the new iPhone, I'm really interested in seeing some
I
like
know.
real I want to see some average people's video content, not all not all the photographers that have had a chance to use it and show what it can
Right.
do. I want to know what
I'm
real
really
people can
excited
do with
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
I want to see what
Because
I can do with
yeah,
it.
because getting that blurred background, if you can get the blurred background on a video, not portrait, not
Yes.
taking a picture in portrait mode, but on a
Right.
video, then I'm like, all right, you probably don't need the DSLR, you don't need all the other equipment that goes with it because going live, especially if you want to be mobile, that's going to be a little bit more difficult simply because of the connectivity. So you're talking cellular connection, which means you need to have a nice mobile plan, unlimited. Most unlimited plans aren't truly unlimited. They give you so much and then they really
Mhm.
throttle you down. Where we're static, it's nice. You just plug in the internet. I don't have to worry about it. Super simple.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
the other thing I wanted to talk about is kind of the hybrid setup, which is what
Yes.
you've kind of are doing, and we've talked about, oh, how can we incorporate both live and pre-recorded content, where you
Yes.
actually go out and shoot content, may it be B-roll, and that B-roll is content that doesn't have words in it typically. It's just kind of like, ooh, look at the pretty bird flying, or what is it? Oh, look, It's a lens cap. Ooh, and I'm going to take some B-roll as a
Ooh.
lens cap. Maybe a cupcake or a coffee or a drink or something might be more exciting than a lens cap. I don't know. But then actually integrating that into the live broadcast.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're able to like we're fully live right now. It's not no piece of this is recorded. It's live at the moment. And then if we wanted to, we could add in that B-roll and say,
Right.
hey, let's go to our B-roll and we can add that in and then come back, do the live portion. And then there's another kind of hybrid.
Okay.
There's a kind of hybrid to that
Yeah.
too, where it can be all pre-recorded, part of it to look live. I did this once for one of my episodes to try it out, and I actually kind of liked the format. So I did the beginning of the show as if it were live and I recorded it. And I
Hmm.
didn't clip anything, I didn't cut anything out. It was as if I were doing the show live. And then I went and I edited in and I did some B roll and I went somewhere else and then I came back. So technically, the whole thing was pre recorded.
Hmm.
And then I was able to live stream it out at the time that I wanted to have. I have a standard time for my show, just like we do, Tuesdays at
Right.
4 p.m. And I was able to push that out as a live stream. So that's another option for
Hmm.
people if they're maybe not as comfortable with doing the live. You want to maybe record it and make sure you're live-ish looks
Right.
good
Sure.
and feel good with it, and then it still feels live. It has that live feel and you're pushing it out at a certain time that you've predetermined.
Right. And at that time, the other thing you do is going to be, especially on YouTube, is you can create a watch party, or excuse me, that's
Yes.
Facebook. In YouTube, they have something else also. So if you have followers and you know you're going to upload a video at a certain time, you can actually tag that to show at a specific time. So you can actually upload it to YouTube, have it show at a specific time, and then it's similar to Facebook with the watch party, where then people can go and engage in those type of things. So one thing I
And
would warn
share it
is
out.
and share it out. And yeah, the
Yeah.
idea is to kind of like, oh, let's like I know people in book clubs, they'll do this. So
Yeah.
authors will actually speak about their book and they'll have a meeting. And so then there's a way of actually coming together and have your audience communicate. The one thing I would say
Mhm.
is that just be careful if you're pre-recorded, but you're presenting as live
Yes.
versus going live and actually being live versus just pre-recording. But with a little bit of pre-planning, because if
Mhm.
you know what the sequences are, you can make it look live, but pre-recorded.
They're pre-recorded,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So I mean, there's a lot of options for doing all of this. I mean, like we said, I mean, live I think is very very valuable. And then putting those all those things together to have a video that you can use. There are pieces of this that we can pull out and use, a small little something,
right.
and be able to repurpose that. So I we always say y'all need to be doing some video. We don't care if it's live or recorded or
Right.
what. Y'all need to be doing
Yeah.
video.
Yeah. The world is quickly pushing towards video. And then, of course, with e-commerce, what was it? Last week they said e-commerce has jumped 5 years just
Hmm.
because of everything that's going
Crazy.
on. It's need to take care of, the world essentially
The world, yeah,
is
exactly.
moving. It's moving virtual. It's moving online. So, if you're running e-com, yeah, having videos that show how to use a product, what's
Yes.
beneficial, customer testimonials are always beneficial through
Yes.
video. I was going to say something I totally forgot. So,
Oh man, I
can you
love
give me
live.
some words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom.
First words of wisdom is just do it.
Just
That's
do it.
number
Love it.
one. Just do it. That's if you're just starting out and you're still not quite comfortable, just jump on, do a live. You're very knowledgeable about whatever it is that is your business or what your expertise is. So you really don't have to worry about saying exactly the right thing or doing the right thing. Just go live. People appreciate exactly who you are. They're going to be able to connect with you and see your authenticity and see how knowledgeable you are about your product or service. So that would be number one.
Hmm.
Uh, Number two would be plan it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Plan out your content, even if it's just bullet points. I'm not a big, I don't like to read scripts. I hate
Don't
scripts.
recommend it because then
I hate
you end
scripts.
up sounding like, okay, this is number
Exactly.
one, this is number two,
And
and yeah,
yeah,
and
writing the script out in full sentences. And if you put it in front of you, even if you intend to, ad lib, if it's right in front of you, you
yeah,
will read it.
it's a crutch.
Yeah,
And then the
it is.
eyes end up over here versus here, which is where they really need to be. So I think that's a
Right.
really important tip.
Exactly. So, bullet point things. I use small, index cards with bullet points, the key points that I need to make. The rest of it is all just ad lib. It's
Right.
just me doing whatever or me making my comments about different things. And that's what I think people appreciate. It's not necessarily am I saying saying things exactly accurate.
Right.
It's okay if it's not accurate.
Yep.
I'm doing the best I can and I got my bullet points. I'm good.
Hmm. Yep. And who knows, it could create conversation also, engage in conversation. So, what I was going to say earlier is that if you're not doing video, so specifically for those people that are not doing video, and they're not sure where to start, going live, I think, is the easiest way, simply because once you go on the Facebook and you've done, all you got to do is click go live
Yep.
and you're done.
You're
And
done.
then
It's
you
easy.
talk, and then you literally hit a button that says stop or end or whatever it says.
Or post. Yeah.
You're done. You don't have to worry
Done.
about anything. I'm like, all right, let me go eat my ice cream and my cookies, or I can go to sleep, take a little nap, whatever it is. You don't have to worry about it. Where if you're going to pre-record, if you're going to do other things, it just takes a little bit more effort. So if you're
It
looking
does.
for the easiest way, grab your phone and start there. If
And
you
the
want,
other tip
yep, go ahead.
with regard to that is
Yep.
invest in a tripod and a
Yeah.
adapter for your phone. It can be really distracting when you're bouncing all around with that phone, and while you're talking or walking or doing whatever, it can be really, really distracting. And you want people to hear the message
Right.
and see you in a positive way rather than you bouncing all around. So,
Yes.
small
Unless
investment.
unless it's a TikTok video on a skateboard drinking ocean spray, then
Exactly.
go ahead. It's okay.
All the rules out the window, man.
But that's also a different platform. But yes, very
That's exactly
important.
right.
And then
Yes.
I think the next step is going to be, okay, if you want to, like, oh, I'm not really sure about, just record some content on your phone. There's plenty of apps where you can edit, and you don't need to do the transitions and do fancy things. I like to have a nice fade at the beginning and a little fade at the end, but other than that, you're fine. And
But
that's an
yeah, I mean,
easy way to start recording content.
exactly. If you're on your iPhone, I know, Ryan, you're not an iPhone user.
Not an
I
iPhone
am,
user.
but I love my iPhone. But you have iMovie at your disposal, and you can
Yeah.
super easily just cut off that front end where you're pushing the button or doing whatever. And at the very end too, you can easily just trim that right down, and it's ready to go. It's so simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you want to go up from there, there are other platforms. We've talked about it in prior shows. You can live stream from Zoom. So if you wanted to do a
Mhm.
simple side by side, you're not worried about the branding, not worried about the quality in the sense that Zoom compresses everything.
Mhm.
Zoom, super simple. I mean, there's like, all you got to do is hit live stream, but you got to plug in some code. So it does take a little bit effort because you got to connect
Right.
Zoom to Facebook or YouTube. And then from there, you can go into like a StreamYard where you can start incorporating
Mhm.
branding. There's BeLive.tv, which is another way of incorporating branding and being able to live stream. And then you can get into like OBS, which is going to allow you a lot of flexibility. I find it to be complicated. It's like a programmer designed it for programmers.
Okay.
And so
I wouldn't do well with that.
no, no. And then there's, Ecamm for Macs, and
Okay.
then we're using vMix is the platform that we're using so that we can do the overlay so that I can switch so that if I wanted to, not that I would, but if I wanted to, I could make it snow. So we get to
There
have all
you go.
kinds of we get to have all
You
kinds
have
of
the
fun
power.
things. But so there's all different levels. But if you're looking to start somewhere, just grab your phone and
Yes.
get at
And
it.
and the
Anything else?
one yeah, the one I just wanted to let people know, you talked about a couple of different platforms.
Hmm.
The one that I found, and I'm still new to it, but I did do that one live stream, and it's called OneStream.
Mm.
And it, to me, like I said, I'll say it over and over again, I'm not techie. To me, it made a lot of sense. It was a very few buttons. It was like boom, boom. There's the file. This is where I want it to go. This is when I want it to go. And you push go, and it's scheduled, and it
You
went.
don't have to worry about it.
Um, yeah, it was
Yeah.
very, very easy to use. Like I said, I did it one time, so I still want to play around with it and really, learn more about all of the capabilities, because it does have some other capabilities. But as a first time, and me being the non techie, I think OneStream was
Yeah.
excellent. So
All right,
yeah,
perfect. And just for clarification with that, that's not going to be like a StreamYard or a BeLive.tv that's going
no,
to allow you to have multiple people and overlays. That's simply
that
how
I
you get your content out,
that I
right?
don't know.
Okay. All right. Well,
I
that'll be
haven't
something.
looked.
Maybe
I'm
we'll do a future show on that because it is something I'd
There
like
you
to
go.
dive into is going,
Yeah,
okay, let's dig into some of these softwares. What are the
yeah,
pros and cons? One of the next things that I'm going to be working on is actually having vMix in the cloud and then working
right.
remotely up in the cloud with
Yes,
vMix. So I'm excited and nervous all at the same time. We'll see what happens. It
you're
should
such an
be
experimenter.
it's experimental, but that's it's fun. It's fun. It's
I
like trying
know.
a new drink. It's like, what if we put this and this together? It's kind of
See,
good.
now you're speaking my language.
There we go. All right. Well, I think unless you have something else, that's it for today's
No,
show. Otherwise, we'll
that's it.
see everybody next Tuesday at 4
Next
p.m.
Tuesday.
Pacific time.
Yep, we'll
All
see
right.
you then.
All right. We'll see you then. Until next time, hope everybody has a great day. Stay warm if you're in a warm, cold area. Stay cold if you're in a hot area.
Good advice.
Good advice. And drink a Mountain Dew, would you?
Mm.
Take care, everybody.